Hi friends, it's Edwige, a Coastal Magnolia. I hope you are well wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. I filmed this video about 2 months ago. Actually, it was right around Christmas time, and I just never got around to editing it. So today, that is what I am doing. This is a really simple resin wine glass design. It's always a great seller. It's very easy to do, and it's just super simple and classic. So follow along with me and let's get started. My wine glasses are prepped. I've cleaned them with 91% isopropyl alcohol. I have them attached onto my quad turner arms with some pool noodles and some white paper towels underneath so that you can see the color that I'll be applying. And I've mixed up 40 milliliters of KSRESIN liquidy split. It's a fast set. You don't have a great big working time, but the nice thing about it is it's nice and thick and it's perfect for wine glasses. I'm pouring about 5 milliliters into a separate silicone cup because I'm going to be mixing two colors today. I'm going to mix white liquid resin dye into this green silicone cup, and then I'm going to be pouring some mica powder or putting some mica powder. You don't pour mica powder. This is Sesso mica powder in aqua. It is such a pretty shimmery color. I absolutely love it. Just tapping it down so that I get all of the mica powder into the cup and not onto the lid. This is probably 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon, using a popsicle stick, just stirring into the resin really, really well. What you don't want to do is mix too little. You want to mix really, really well so that all of the mica powder is mixed in there really well, and that, how many times can I say really well? You want to mix it up really well so that all the clumps break up and you have a nice uniform color, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. The more mica powder you use in your resin, the more opaque you will get. Obviously the less, the more translucent you will get. And I kind of want a little bit of a more translucent color this time on these cups, and you'll see why in just a minute. So like I said, my glasses are clean, and I need to get my turner arms turning in the right direction. This little button, there we go. And try to get this one. Come on. No, other way. Nope. Nope. There we go. All right, so I'm going to put a thin layer on each one of these glasses. This is just going to be my base color. You don't really need a thick layer on wine glasses. You're painting with the resin. You don't need a really super thick layer unless you are working with a lot of glitter or a lot of textured materials like underlayments or little charms or whatever. So you just need a thick layer. You don't need a thick layer. It's just not necessary. And my theory on it is, with a wine glass, you're going to be a little bit more careful with glass because it's fragile, right? You're not needing a thick layer to protect it from damage like you would, say, a tumbler that you throw in your backpack or you throw into the cup holder of your car. You just, with a tumbler, you're more apt to be kind of rough with it. But a wine glass, honestly, if you drop your wine glass on the floor or on the counter, you're most likely, if you've chipped your resin, you've also broken your wine glass. So you're going to be more careful with a wine glass. With a tumbler, if you drop it on the ground, the resin layer is probably not going to crack because it's thick. But anyway, that's my theory for not using a whole lot of resin on a wine glass. You just need a thin layer. So let's speed it up because this part tends to be kind of boring. So I'm going to speed it up here. Always keep a little silicone mold handy when I'm working with resin, just in case I have any leftover resin or have any resin left over. I can use the leftovers to pour into a little silicone mold. I happen to use this one quite a bit, and I can use these for other projects later on. So always have a mold handy. Remember the resin I poured into the little green cup? Well, it's more like lime green. So I am going to take some liquid resin dye now. This is white. I'm not sure of the brand because I bought it a long time ago, and a little goes a long way. But I'm going to add 2 drops of this liquid resin dye after I shake it up really well. And I'm going to mix that up into this cup really, really well. And there's probably, like I said, 5 milliliters or so. And using my popsicle stick, I'm going to add it to the very top of the resin layer that I just added to the cup. And this is just a really thin, get that cup out of the way, just a really thin, light layer of the white right on top. It's kind of like the top edge of that aqua blue resin layer. You can see a little bit better here, but it's just the very top of it, just adding an extra layer of I don't know, visual interest. You'll see in a minute what I do, but I'm just going to add this really thin layer. You can kind of spread it with your stick a little bit and kind of draw it on if it's a little bit too thick in some areas. But if I leave it alone, it will naturally want to kind of flow into the resin. I love this turner that I have. This is a thrift store find that I've had for quite a while, and I absolutely love it. I think it's just a like a square Lazy Susan. Basically, that's what it is. But it allows me to get to both sides of my quad cup turner pretty easily. So again, just adding a really thin layer here with my stick on each one of my wine glasses. Make sure I don't have any drips. Just kind of see how I'm kind of just spreading it with my stick. And it's already, the resin's already starting to get really, really thick. And this is already a thick resin. So your working time with liquidy split is minimal at best. But the reason I like it so much is I can get so much more done in a day. I mean, sometimes I can get 12 wine glasses done in a day. If I start early in the morning and work through late afternoon, I can get 12 done at in one day. So look over here to the left where the white is already kind of naturally wanting to flow down into the aqua. And if I just leave it alone and don't use my heat gun to push the white, it will really start to create its own really, really pretty patterns. And I have done this. It's really pretty. Sometimes I don't use my heat gun at all to move the resin around, but I am going to use my heat gun to pop the bubbles pop any bubbles that come up on the glass. And then I'm going to use the heat gun to push that white, just like you would if you're creating waves on a on a painting or whatever with the white. I'm just using the heat gun on a low heat and high air setting just to push. See how it's just pushing the white into the aqua layer. And it's not very much. It's not going to turn into a frothy white wave. And you might get some cells and you might not get some cells, but this is just a really pretty wispy effect. It's just a very subtle wave. And if you use more white, then you might end up getting some lacing. Lacing is a little bit more difficult to achieve on a wine glass like this because just the motion of the turner, sometimes you'll lose any kind of pattern or effect that you're trying to achieve. So it's really just, honestly, it's luck of the draw. You might get lacing and you might not. Most times you might not, but it's still a really cool effect. Now I'm going to add the next layer of color. I have Pixis Gold in a little needle nose dropper. And this needle nose dropper is awesome because what I can do with the needle applicator. I guess it's a needle applicator, not a dropper, but I'm not dropping the ink on. What I'm doing is using the applicator tip to draw on the ink. And I just really, really love how much control this gives me over the alcohol ink itself. And not just metallics, but over any alcohol ink that I use in a needle nose applicator bottle. It just sometimes the ink won't come out because you gotta squeeze it. But sometimes I do get a little booger in the needle tip itself. So you got to remember, if you're doing it this way, and it kind of squishes out, but if you're using it this way, make sure you clean that needle applicator really, really well between each use, because the resin will get up into the needle, especially if you are squeezing it, and then the resin will harden and your needle tip will get boogered up, and you have to take a needle or something to kind of get it out. But I really love being able to draw on the resin like this. It's really fun. Now, if left by itself, the metallics really tend to kind of pull together and just take over the design. The metallics are just really dominant. I don't want to move the gold around with my heat gun, so I'm going to take some alcohol. This is just 91% isopropyl alcohol. Have it in a little squirt bottle. And I'm going to spray on alcohol onto the bigger clumps of the gold just to see if I can kind of break those areas up and allow that gold to kind of move on its own. And that is really, I'm going to see if I can get a close-up real quick. You see how the plain alcohol in that squirt bottle is really breaking up the gold. And so it's almost creating these little tiny wispy marbly effect. Is that a term? Marbly effect? I really like it though. It's way, way different than using your heat gun to move that gold. This is really, really cool. It is. It's almost like a marble effect, or like a natural marbling vein within a block of quartz. You might see it here. You see how it just breaks it up. You'll see it once the glass turns a little bit, you'll see it really start to break up. And don't be afraid to use, okay, there you can see it there. Don't be afraid to use the alcohol. You're not going to ruin the resin. The alcohol is going to evaporate, and then you're going to be left with the color. And I just wanted it more natural. So this is a really natural wispy effect for sure. Just keep working it with the alcohol until you get the look that you want. Once I find the look that I want, I'm just going to leave these to spin for about 4 hours, and then they'll be ready to take off the turner to cure for a while, at least overnight. Winners. How pretty that color is. It's just simple and elegant, and these are super easy. Like that. I love the shimmer of this mica powder and the just the different color effects it has, and then especially with the gold. These are really beachy and fun. Super, super cool. Let me know what you guys think. Look at, you see the different variations in the green and the aqua, and then more of the blue in here. Just really a color shifting mica powder. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support of my channel. just really appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed already, please do consider giving a like and a subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try this, I think, in a darker blue with some liquid resin dye and the gold, and see what we can get. I'm going to do that one next. Bye, friends.